All right, everybody, welcome to the Wild Bill Podcast number 45. Today we have a special episode where directly between minicamp and training camp for the NFL, so I brought on my good friend Peyton. We'll be talking about specifically the Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles, our respective teams, talking about seeing if the Eagles will repeat as champions and what the expectation is for the Chicago Bears. In addition to that, I'll also be back with my regularly scheduled Chicago Cubs breakdown of the past couple weeks. It's been overall good. I'll focus more on the positive of the previous week. And so I think what most people are here for right now is to catch up with me and Peyton. So I think we'll transition right into that. Again, thank you for tuning in. So this will be me and Peyton talking about the offseason acquisitions and additions, free agents, draftees, whatever it may be. Hope you enjoy this. All right, all of our loyal fans, welcome back. It is once again Peyton and Bill back at it again to talk ball. Peyton, we haven't spoken since Kenny P took his final knee on the ground of Super Bowl, what was it, 54?
Yeah, no, yes,
59.
yes. Next
We're all
year
too
is,
behind so many Super Bowls.
are we?
I think it might have been. Oh, dude, I gotta verify this because I
It's 59. You're right. 60 is next
59.
year.
Okay,
Yeah.
excuse me. Ever since
Yeah.
Super Bowl 59, Peyton, how's it been? How have you been reveling in this? Any new life updates? What's been going
Well,
on in the universe of P?
let me make it clear for the fans at home. Bill and I have talked since then or spoken since then. We're just not on the pod. But Bill's my homie. We're locked in for life. So I've talked to him tons of times since then. Um, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be back. Happy that football season's coming back. I feel like it's the best time of the year every year when football season's coming around the corner. Uh, V and I are, well, not me, but Victoria's doing a lot of planning for the wedding, so that's exciting. I told her at any point if she wants help or needs help, I'm here for her. But for the most part, I want her to get what she wants, so she's heads down on that. Um, the fam's good, man. Just had my bachelor party, Juneteenth weekend. Shout out to Juneteenth. Um, we went to Austin. I'm not a big fan of Austin. However, a lot of people that went live in Texas, so it was easy just to do a commute. I don't know what's going on with bachelor and bachelorette parties lately, where it's like you have to go to some destination and everyone has to pay thousands of dollars. I'm not a fan. I wanted to make it super easy for everyone because it's about spending time with each other, not necessarily what we're doing
Right.
or where we are, I should say. Bill, you added someone to your family recently.
I did. She's right nearby. She's sleeping right now. She's our 4-week-old little kitty. Summer days. She's a little turquoise shelled cat.
Ooh, Summer Days is her name.
Summer days. Daze.
I like that. I
Mm-hmm.
like that a lot.
Yeah, first time I've ever had a pet. We were not allowed growing up. Um,
hmm
and
Rock wasn't having it.
nah, my dad didn't like pets. I am slightly allergic to cats. I think I've gotten over it. The first few days were a little tough, but
hmm
smooth sailing ever since then.
Have you
Um,
not been taking medication?
I took allergy pills for a couple of days, and then it just hasn't been nearly as bad.
Oh wow, you're. I told you you're built different, bro.
Man, built different.
You're built different.
There's only one wild Bill.
Hell yeah, there is.
So yeah,
Uh,
that's been cool. We've been feeding her. It started off as every 4 hours, so like 3 a.m. sucked, 7 a.m. sucked. It's moved up to about 6 hours, and she's eating a lot more. We're starting to give her solid food. Yeah, it's great. It's nice to have a little buddy when I'm by myself.
yeah. How's Fran doing? How's the home front?
She's great. One quick note about summer days, I think
Yeah.
would be appropriate for this podcast. The very first night that we were just by ourselves, chilling on the couch, she was on my stomach. Pulled out my phone, pulled up YouTube, immediately showed her two
Tavon,
things.
Tavon
Oh,
Austin highlights.
okay, three things. Showed her the Cubs winning the World Series,
Fire.
Cairo Santos kicking it through the ends, through the uprights, beating the Packers most recently,
Okay.
and then Tavon Austin highlights. So she's already well versed. She's
She
already
knows
past
exactly
it.
what's going on. Yeah. She
She's
knows
already
exactly.
better than the average fan.
Literally.
Yeah.
Those are probably the three things that we should send off and like say we send out a probe
Mhm.
to like the universe, like just send it out. Like Tavon Austin highlights the Cubs winning. I don't know about the Packers getting beat, but those two videos definitely should be in our this is what
Mhm.
the world is like, at least from America's standpoint.
That and maybe like Finito.
That'd be tough.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, Fran's been great. Just been hanging out a lot, staying low key, trying to get back on the horse of my fitness journey as well. I know I'm trying to look fit for the wedding. I'm trying to look good for those pictures that are going to last forever.
Same, brother. We need to make
Um,
sure that we're in tip-top shape.
we'll
So
do it.
well, you and I will get there.
We'll keep each other accountable.
Absolutely.
Only other real big development, I started going to acting classes, so we'll see. See what lies ahead.
Is Wild Bill trying to get in front of the camera? Has
That's
this
right.
podcast opened you up into wanting to be in front of the camera than instead of behind? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that a new development?
Perhaps that
All
might be
right,
it.
all right. But you look good. So I mean, I always thought it was kind of wild that you didn't want double entendre there. I always thought it was wild that you didn't want to that Wild didn't want to be in front of the
Mm,
camera. But
I like that.
we'll take it. We'll take it. Um, I like that for you. I think that's definitely up your alley. I mean, I think kind of like you playing quarterback and switching to receiver, you have a different view on the field. Um, so I think that helps you a lot being able to say, "Hey, oh, I know what a director would want in this moment. I know how the lighting should look. I know which way to position myself. Little intricacies of being an artist."
Yeah, being on set is a whole like experience and like lesson in acting by itself, and I'm super comfortable in that. I've been on tens, not hundreds yet, but tens of sets, and it's like second nature. It's like the fish in water, so feeling good about that. So yeah, before we get into football, I do want to give you the runway real quick. I know we were going to talk about
Yeah,
it at some point. My Chicago Cubs are having a great season. Yeah, your Phillies are having a great season.
we're
They've already
trying.
played all the games that they're going to play. Phillies took the series 4-2, so I want to give you your opportunity to say whatever you want to say. I know you have
Uh,
feelings about most Cubs fans. I know you give me the pass, but
I give you the pass because you are a true Cubs fan since the beginning. Since I've known you in first grade, you've been wearing Cubs memorabilia since then. So I do, especially when they were very, 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 very bad. You've been a fan of them.
mm-hmm.
Um, these new age Cub fans that like to go to Wrigleyville for the pictures, and I can't blame them for the hot dogs because the hot dogs are elite, and I do judge everyone's hot dogs to Wrigleyville's hot dogs. Um, but yeah, they're just there for the wrong reasons. They're there for the bars and the scene and Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant's not there anymore.
He's
What's his
not.
name? Izzo? Not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like they were there for that, but where's the hoopla? I don't see all the W's flying on the timeline anymore. I don't see any of that. You know why? Because the real ones didn't need to do that. They didn't need the facade. They didn't need the fakeness. You repping down first episode. I'm back. You repping down. I'm not surprised. And you look good in that tank. The arms are popping. So
Sun's
yeah.
out, buns out.
But yeah, the Phillies took the series 4-2. I watched one game. Bill wanted to have a podcast after. I told him I'm heads down right now. And I wanted to get back to when football was back around because the Wild Bill podcast isn't fugazi, okay? Bill gives great analysis on baseball. I'm just not there yet. So I can't give the insight that Bill gives. I don't want to take up space from what you're giving to the
Mhm.
people. Um,
You're welcome to, but
I'll take it. Hey, I appreciate it. But to dive into some football, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. Um, the break between the mini camp, rookie mini camp, the mini camp is on right now, and the next thing that we'll be seeing is teams reporting back for training camp coming up soon. So this is a great time to have a pod, talk about post draft news, mini camp news. Um, I'll ask you this first, Bill. Who was your happiest or the one that you were looking most forward to drafting this year?
well, I'll start with I didn't really know what the strategy was going to be going into having a new head coach, new regime, new program, and what they were going to focus on. So I'll say I was very surprised by taking the top, what people say is the top tight end, Colston Loveland. Um, there was that controversy, like wasn't Tyler Warren supposed to go before him?
Hmm.
Um, there's been a lot of pundits talking about like, oh, he was like going to be the steal of the draft, and after he got drafted by the Bears, the phone calls to move up in the draft stopped, like that kind of stuff. So I was pretty surprised by that. More in terms of being happy, I'm pretty stoked to see a speedster like Luther Burden. I'm
Mm.
anticipating some big things out of him because the Bears did not re-sign Keenan Allen. He was a huge part of, whatever offense you want to call of last season. He was a guy
Hmm.
that Caleb found reliable to target downfield. So those are some pretty big shoes to fill. I know DJ Moore is a good receiver. I think Roma Dunze has a lot of room to grow, and
Hmm.
I think he will in year two. So there's going to be that third option that I think would be very valuable for Caleb to be keeping his eyes downfield on. And if Luther Burden can stretch the field, that would be great, especially like if it becomes a 1-2 punch with either Colston Loveland or Cole Kmet,
Hmm.
having kind of that underneath, right between safety and linebacker area secured.
Hmm.
That's kind of what I'm excited about. And knowing Ben Johnson has all these gadget plays, all these trick plays, wants to confuse and throw out different looks for the defense. I think it could be something that really works out well. I like the move also in, I think it was the third round, getting Ozzie Trapillo. I think he was in Boston College. The offensive lineman. He's showing up to do, I think, competition for left tackle. I know, like one of the only like semi-solid parts of the offensive line last season was Braxton Jones. He wasn't terrible as a left tackle. Everything, all the pressure was coming up from the middle, from between the guards, and a little bit of the right tackle. Darnell Wright was all right, also, but if that could push either Braxton Jones to become a little better, or if Ozzie Trapillo becomes, kind of like a sleeper pick, a steal of the draft, that'd be great. Um, but yeah, those are the picks that I was most happy about. Again, super surprised about the first round pick, but I'll let Ben cook for a year before I start to get really critical.
That's a great analysis, honestly, and I think that's a good leveled, measured view of what you want Ben Johnson to show in the first year. Because Rome wasn't built in a day, man, and that's why everyone hates Cowboys fans because it's our year every year, baby. Like, and it's just like, dog, it's going to take some time to grow into the offense and the team that you want this to be. Peyton Manning had a horrible first year. That's what I kept going back and forth with Caleb Williams. Like everyone's super happy with what youngster down in the Texans. CJ Stroud did in his rookie year a couple years ago. Now everyone's hyped about what Jaden Daniels. I saw some people putting Jaden Daniels in his their top 10, top five. I think people put him in the top five already. I understand he went to the NFC Championship game in his rookie year, which is I think never been done. I think he was the first one to do it, but uh, that like consistency goes a long way, and that's why Ben Johnson didn't want to take any and old job and actually re-signed with the Lions last season to have one more year with them because he's like, none of the openings I'm seeing are good enough for the ones I want or actual like stability. Like he's bringing a level of stability to the franchise that you guys not had since Lovie Smith. So I definitely think a year probably a year and a half of development by I would say next year, like not the season, but the a year and a half from now, you're gonna be seeing a completely refined Caleb, super comfortable in the system, checking in and out of plays, really having his fingerprint on the offense. Because I think up until this point, I don't really think because in college you don't really get any quarterbacks that are going to be able to put a fingerprint on their offense outside of like the Tim Tebows, the Cam Newtons when they were in college,
Mhm.
like the really generational guys. Most times it's just the offense coordinator and that's what they run. This offense and the NFL, it's going to be who you are as a person. You're going to build an offense around your quarterback. So Caleb's talents and skills are going to be shown very clearly. Probably towards the end of this year, if you guys make the playoffs, it'll definitely be much more of his offense. But I would say probably going into the 2026 season, you're going to be seeing a very refined offense around Caleb.
Mhm.
So I like your expectations setting early for this team.
Yeah. And then defensive side, I didn't really see too many like crazy changes. I know we got the guy from Indianapolis and the dude from JD Garrett from Atlanta as well. So that's beefing up the interior. Losing Andrew Billings to a torn pec halfway through the season for the rest of the season was a huge like it really affected the rest of the defense. Montez
Yeah.
Sweat had a pretty underwhelming season. That was part of the reason was because Andrew Billing wasn't there to take over his end of the bargain on the defensive line. And I feel pretty confident in our defensive backs. Tyreek Stevenson, after his blunder, was playing not bad. Obviously, we have one of the best cornerbacks in Jalen Johnson. And
Yeah.
once we get Jaquan Brisker, who was out with a pretty big concussion, hopefully that doesn't rear its ugly head around again.
Yeah.
But if he stays healthy, I think that's a really solid unit also. And so yeah, that's what I got on the Bears. Looking forward to seeing what transpires in training camp. I know Loveland has had a shoulder this entire
Mhm.
time. That's mildly concerning. They're not sure if he'll be back in time for the start of training camp. I just watched a Ben Johnson press conference about that, so we'll see. We'll see. That's what I got on the Bears.
I think you guys have a healthy mix of young talent coming back. I know you mentioned um, Keenan and Allen not coming back. Honestly, man, I don't think you guys are missing out on much. I think Rome Odunze is the real deal in terms of a wide receiver too. Um, I think that his dad is hilarious for putting on social media last year all the times that Rome was open and he deserved to get the ball more and he was actually the one leading in yards and receptions and all this stuff. I think he put it out like midway through the season. I think that was hilarious.
Mhm.
I like when dads have their kids back, regardless.
Yeah,
That to me is always like the Lonzo Ball, like or the LeVar Ball type of figure, father figure. I like that. I don't know. I know a
on
lot of people
brand.
don't like it. Yeah, I
BBB.
like that. BBB. Not the Better Business Bureau. No, 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 no. Triple B's Meatball brand,
The
baby.
one that matters.
The one that matters. Um, so yeah, I think that Rome and the draft picks. I honestly I looked up some highlights and some film on your guys' tight end, like you said, that you guys drafted over. I'm really high on Tyler Warren though because I'm a Penn State fan.
Right.
But I looked up some of the film, and your guy is pretty nice, man. He gets a little freaky in the open field at that size. I think that you guys might be able to do something this year. I feel like you guys could. I'm not a Packers. I really don't believe in them right now. I think your guys' real threat is going to be the Lions. Of course, but however, I think there's a lot more turmoil in the rest of the NFC North outside of the Bears for the first time in a long time. So, um, I think that the Lions losing both OC and DC, very tough. Eagles
Yes.
went through that in 2023 after we lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs the first time. We lost um, why am I forgetting their names?
Shane Steichen was one of
Shane
them.
Steichen, thank you. And our defensive coordinator, he went to Arizona, is their head coach. I don't like him. Apparently he was doing the interview like the week of the Super Bowl and like wasn't completely locked in. So, but regardless, uh, I think that the Lions are stuck with a rebuilding year because of that, especially coaching new philosophies coming in that building. Um, and then I think that the Packers, I just don't simply believe in Jordan Love. I think he throws way too many errant passes to be considered. I think he's 10. If I want to say a top 10 quarterback, I think he's 10, if not 11 or 12.
Sure.
Um, and then I think that the Vikings are in a similar position to you, but the only benefit for you guys is that Caleb played the year. The fact that um um why am I forgetting his name?
JJ McCarthy.
Thank you, JJ McCarthy. The fact that he was out for the entire year with a torn ACL, I believe.
Like
Um,
that, yeah.
yeah, like you normally you don't come back the same until a year and a half later as a player, is what I've been told. You don't start feeling like yourself again, but let alone you didn't play one regular season exhibition match snap yet in your career. So I think that's a very scary sight for the Vikings. However, great core around them. And if you're going to do it with anybody, I mean, have the best receiver in football. 1A of 1B because you could say the buddy down in Cincinnati is also
Yep.
Jamar Chase is also very good. But yeah, one of the top two receivers in the league. Um, Addison, the receiver, emerging as well. Great tight end, as well as offensive line is stout. Running game has always been stout for the Vikings since the AP days.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I think that I have the most faith at this moment in the Bears, which is I haven't said that in a long time, Willie.
Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic about it because I've
Yeah.
never known the Bears to meet me where I want them to be. We'll see.
Besides
We'll see
that,
how
those
it goes.
Brian Urlacher days.
Yeah, I can always count on the defense. I don't know about special teams, but yeah. Enough about the Bears. Let's hear about the Birds. I know there's a substantial amount of returning core. We got Batman and Batman, Saquon, Jalen
Returning
It
champs.
hurts. Let's let's
Returning.
hear what your thoughts are. What about your draft, your acquisitions, the people that have departed from the team, not from Earth, but
Yeah, no way. We'll pray for those. Thoughts and prayers. No, so the only meaningful loss I'll say that we got rid of was CJGJ. Um, Gardner Johnson going to the Texans. He was definitely the heart and soul and attitude of our defense. Um, it's not going to be easy to replace that type of energy brought to the field.
hmm,
However, leadership wise, it just leads in different ways. We have guys that are emerging. Um, it's rare. It's rare when you have two white, very, very white DBs in the Eagles team. And so to be able to have my guy Coop and my guy Ed Reed Blankenship, and I'm always going to call him that Ed Reed Blankenship.
I like that.
Um, he CJGJ said himself that Reed is ready to take that next step as being more of an actual leader on this team. He already, I mean, you could see it in Coop. Uh, Took him under his wing and led him last season, but taking a bigger role for the whole defense. I could definitely see Ed Reed Blankenship doing that for us, as well as we're getting back N'Kobe Dean. People forgot N'Kobe Dean got hurt midway through the season.
Fill the playoffs.
Um, yeah, he is our vocal leader, and as well as now you got Zach Bond signed to a great deal. Should have been the defensive player of the year if his name was literally anything else. If his name was Fred Warner and had the stats that he had, he would have won defensive player of the year by a large margin.
Hmm.
So now Zach Bond is a solidified player in the league. I think that he's going to be showing huge leaps and bounds outside of the field, in the weight room, in the meeting rooms. He's going to be a little bit more vocal as a leader this year since he's more familiar with the guys that we got coming back. Um, yeah, man, I'm excited. I think that our new additions, to go back to the question I asked you about the post draft slash mini camp news, man, we got some young cats that are ready to ball. We had Devonte Smith commenting on who he thinks is like a really, really good young player. And he mentioned the safety that we drafted out of Texas. I want to make sure I don't butcher his name. He was our third round pick, second round pick 64, Andrew Mukuba out of Texas safety. And so a lot of people were saying that's actually the reason why we let CJGJ go because we knew that Mukuba could be a real stud for us. Um, so hey, I'm down to roll the dice and let the rookie play.
Hmm.
Apparently he's been laying hat. He's been running around like a madman with his head cut off, like really getting after the ball. So that's my type of guy, man. Anyone that can really the safety position, lay hat and talk your mess like that. Like growing up with Brian Dawkins, that's the type of energy from
Hmm.
Brian Dawkins to Malcolm Jenkins to CJGJ. I'd like to see Andrew Makuba step into the to that role. I did not mention Darius Slay. I think that his best years are behind him, unfortunately.
Hmm.
I mean, he turned the corner position around in Philly, and made that a staple position for us now. But I think that there were a few plays last year that I'd seen him get beat on that I don't think he's lost a step. I think he'll always be fast. But as you get older, your hips don't move the same way. You don't have that same explosiveness, not
Right.
speed, but explosiveness coming out of breaks that we're just kind of missing out on from him. So to have Quinn Young step up into that number one corner position, have Coop play a little bit more positions from the inside and the outside will probably help. But we got some young cats coming out of that came out of Georgia a few years ago that have been in our locker room for a few years now that are still good and great, reliable pieces to have on the field. So I'm excited. Other than that, my number one pick that I'm really happy about is Jihad Campbell. The reign of Jihad is here. Um, he is a linebacker out of Alabama. He fell to pick 31. That was actually Mina Kimes. Shout out to Mina Kimes. Keep doing a great job. Don't let these Twitter trolls get after you.
Big fan.
Yeah, big fan. She had him as her number one pick in the draft, like the full draft. Was her favorite
Wow.
player was Jihad Campbell. Yeah. And she was upset when he fell to us, being that it seems like the last few years that's been happening for us. Cooper DeJean falling to us, Quinion Mitchell falling to us. Um, I'm done with y'all saying that's falling to us when y'all GMs just aren't doing their jobs. So
Mhm.
when Howie didn't draft, um, we drafted Jalen Rager over JJ. People gave us all types of fits and saying that Howie sucks, Howie's this, Howie's that. Yeah, okay, well then keep the same energy for y'all GMs. We're just doing our job. All right?
Yeah.
How is first ballot at this point? Go find a Howie. Go do your job.
Hmm.
Get on your ownership group. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see what Jihad can do. The reign and the terror of Jihad is here. Especially I can't wait for that. That's gonna ring so nice and for against the Giants when he gets his first sack. I cannot wait.
The reign of
Um,
Jihad.
yeah, cannot wait. Um, he is just a special player, and it feels like the rich keep getting richer because, like I said, N'Kobe's been injured on and off for a few years. He's coming back to have someone push him, like you said about a couple of Bears players, to either stay on the field or stay healthy. N'Kobe, you have no excuse now. Like you got to be there for us, and
Right.
it was unfortunate because this past year. N'Kobe kind of it really solidified himself as our starting linebacker, and then boom, gets injured again. So I don't want to say he should lose his position because of that, but if all of a sudden Jihad comes out, starts going crazy, I don't know what to tell you. And as well as that, I'm saying all this praise on Mr. Campbell. However, we still got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson, just waiting. He already
Just
had his
chilling.
rookie year, just chilling. So we got some hitters at the linebacker position, which again, for the Eagles, very rare in my lifetime. We were never a huge linebacker team, except for the first time we had Trotter's dad. That was probably the only linebacker in my young Eagles history that I felt like really laid some hat. Um, but moving off of the new cats, but we on our note sheet or cheat sheet, I also agree with you, Bill. I think 2004, I think we're going to have a mirage. I think this is going to be the first year as well that we have
Hmm.
a repeat NFC East division champ. Even if we don't, by some miraculous chance that the Commanders pull it away, I think, even if the Cowboys, all of a sudden the Cowboys come out of nowhere and they just hit the ground rolling. They got not Kenny, they got
CD.
Pickens, George Pickens. Yeah, I like CD's
I
game.
love
I
CD.
don't. I don't think CD is a he's a slot merchant. I don't think that he is truly
Like an X or a Z.
yeah. And that in terms of when it comes to like playing the receiver position, you can't just be a slot merchant. You
Yeah.
can't be and shout out to this guy, you can't be a Blaze Miller. You can't just be only getting busy in the slot. You gotta be you gotta be able to
There's a name. I haven't heard of that in a while. You're right though.
He played the H and he just, hey, right
Killed
over
it.
the. Hey, he did. He did.
Did.
He was good, but I need you to get busy on the outside as well. Shout out
Right.
to Nick Dotson. He'll get in the slot and on the outside and get busy.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think that this will be the first year that we run it back in a while. I think that we have just a well-oiled machine of young cats. And I think Howie bringing in and saying no 2 years ago when Howie said we're not drafting, we're not well, obviously not drafting, but we're not getting free agents that are older than 26. Everyone getting rid of everybody besides I think at that point it was just Darius Slay and maybe like one or I think Kelsey and I think that was it, honestly.
Mhm.
Everyone else was under 26 or turning 27 during the season. Like, and so now we're seeing the fruits of that labor pay dividends now with having a young team that's all under contract, ready to roll year
Mhm.
in and year out. So I think that we have a great chance to run it back, at least make a divisional round. I think that's the basement for us is the divisional round.
Yeah. I think you're selling yourself short. I think the Eagles have a pretty good shot of making the NFC Championship again. If not, on to the championship round. I'm pretty high on the Eagles. I'm not gonna lie. I don't see them slowing down anytime soon, man. Those birds are flying. Howie's been playing chess for years. It's tough. I
I
know
love it.
the Bears play the Eagles, I believe, later on in the season, and that's gonna be a
Do
scary
it.
game.
I think it's in Chicago though, right? Or no?
I think it's in Philadelphia.
Is it?
It's gonna be a gross game.
That's gonna be great. Yeah, November 28th. You're right. Wait,
It
what?
might be
Is it?
Black Friday, no?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Is it a black? You're gonna be on primetime TV against us,
Oh,
getting smoked.
well,
Getting
maybe,
so.
hopefully, it's a touchdown game or so. We'll see.
I did not know that. Wow.
So I know we'll
That
have a
that
lot to
pod
say
is gonna
that
be a good
week.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that pod is gonna be a good one. It is Black Friday. You're right. Oh, we might need to do. I think this year for Thanksgiving, I don't know if I'm going anywhere. So we might have to do like after that game type of pod, like a hot reaction or something.
Mhm.
Give the people what they want.
A live stream, perhaps.
We could.
That's an idea.
We'll
Giving the
tease it.
fans a brainstorm sesh live on air.
Yeah, that'd actually be nice. I'd be down to do that. We could either set up a Twitch or YouTube live. Yeah. I'm down for
Mhm.
that.
That's nice. Cool. I know you got to run. I got to run too. I know we all got to
Yep.
run. We got to shave off some of these
These
inches.
LBs. These LBs. We're not talking linebackers.
That's
We
right.
appreciate you guys for watching, always tuning in. This is me first of many. Bill and I talked yesterday, said we're locked in, baby. This is our year. Just to be able to pod, hang out, talk, really reminisce in the game that we both love.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in. I promise I will buy the premium Zoom so that we don't have to be capped off at 40 minutes or whatever it is. I'll invest in our success. I'm glad we had the trial run. I know we can definitely go
Absolutely.
on for a while.
Yep.
Oh, it'll be very much worth our time. Peyton, love you, my brother. Thanks for
Love you,
joining.
man.
And we'll reconvene soon. Let's reconvene before the season. Maybe go through
Absolutely.
our team's schedules and see what we think.
Yeah, we should do a win loss check off of the schedule and see what our predictions are.
Let's do it.
All right.
All
Love
right,
you.
bro. I love you too. All right. See ya. All right. That was a great time we just had. Always love having Peyton on. We're both beefing up for the upcoming wedding. Um, let's see. Just real quick before I get into the Chicago Cubs stuff, what's new with me? My girlfriend and I have adopted a kitty. She is currently sleeping in the box right in front of me. She's a tortoise shell, 4 week old girl kitty. Her name is Sunny Daze, Daze. First time I've ever had a pet, so it's been a lot going on in my life the past couple weeks that we've had her. Started off with feeding her every 4 hours. Now we're doing every six, so getting a little more sleep now, thankfully. Feeling a little more like myself. And yeah, things are going pretty well with that. I'm very happy to have her in my life. It's nice to have a little buddy. And as I mentioned in the section with Peyton, she is already well versed in the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016, the Bears beating the Packers most recently, and Tavon Austin highlights. So she's already far beyond possibly how most people are with their sports knowledge. So let's get into the Chicago Cubs, which is the main focus of the show. And besides, the NFL, not trying to diminish the football portion of the year that we like to discuss. Coming off this past week specifically, the Cubs swept the Cleveland Guardians and took 2 out of 3 games against St. Louis, which is a little frustrating because out of the 27 innings, the Cubs, I like to believe, dominated 26 of them. And it's just unfortunate that Brad Keller had to go out there, and he's pitched pretty well, so he gets a pass. I'm not super frustrated with him, but it would have been nice to sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, as it always would be. But I'm not complaining about those other 2 wins, because come on, that was great. 8 home runs on the 4th of July, 11-0 on Sunday. Pardon my technical difficulties. I forgot to charge the batteries, so I had to get a different one in. But anyways, picking back up where I was, 11-0 against the St. Louis Cardinals on Sunday Night Baseball. Absolutely pantsed that team. Huge fan of that. I won't put too much stock into those wins. Honestly, St. Louis looked a little sloppy a lot of the times. The defense just didn't feel like it was there for them. I know that attributes a lot to Nolan Arenado being hurt. I think he's got a shoulder. Otherwise, I think the Cubs would not have capitalized nearly as much in that first inning, or maybe it was the second inning Sunday night, where I think the third baseman's name was Sajasi. Had an errant throw. He had a lot more time to get to home plate for the force out. That would have saved a run. That would have been nice. Or rather, I'm glad that he didn't. It allowed for a bigger inning. Would have been nice for them, but who cares what they want? So that felt good. Felt dominating. Felt like that's exactly who the Cubs are and the power that they pose in the division. Can't say rather enough good things about Michael Busch and this past week that he's had. He's batting nearly 600. He's hit 4 home runs. Hit 3 on the 4th of July. That was incredible. PCA with 2 dingers on 4th of July. It was, 5 different Cubs that hit a home run? Dansby, Carson Kelly. And, dude, that's just crazy. Never been done before in the franchise's history, which spans back to, the 1800s, which is crazy. Not even the days of Sammy Sosa. Though he never really had a super big, powerful counterpart to be with him. So that's a good sign that the Cubs have all these different guys on the roster at the same time. That's not even including Kyle Tucker. I got to keep it clean. Sorry about that, guys. And sweeping the Guardians, I know the Guardians are not necessarily the class of the AL Central. I just checked the standings. The Detroit Tigers have a 14-game lead in that division. That's between first and second place, which is crazy. That also felt said more about the Cubs than about the Guardians. They were just taking care of business recently, and that's good to see. I think I haven't spoken since the Seattle series, so I'll just breeze over the week they went straight against St. Louis, 4 games, split that series. I think the Cubs were on a pretty bad skid at that time because they won the last 2. Shut them out on the last 2 games. So I think they're not really faltering against the Cardinals. I think this is going to be strictly a race between Milwaukee and the Cubs. Milwaukee's playing some good baseball. They're only 3.5 games behind as we stand after their big win against the LA Dodgers last night. And then the Houston Astros are also a really hot team. Dropped 2 out of 3 against them. It was nice to see Kyle Tucker and Ryan Presley get a nice welcome home from their former home crowd. They never forget the contributions those guys had, even if it was a little weird with the controversy that happened. I think those guys weren't there for 2017, but that stink's not going to go away anytime soon. So I think what year was it the Astros won? 2021. So it's been a little while. Maybe been 23. I don't know. It was within the past 3 or 4 seasons. So overall, I am pretty happy with the way this team has been moving recently. Shota came back, and it's almost as if he didn't miss a step. He had maybe 1 or 2 mistakes in the home series against the Cardinals, and he shut them out. at St. Louis. That's super encouraging to see. Matthew Boyd absolutely deserved that All-Star nod. As the joke on Twitter is, he is the father that stepped up in the absence of Shota and Justin Steele. That guy is pitching his butt off every single time. Every fifth day, he's showing up and absolutely shoving, dude. He's using that slider super well. He's locating super well. He had 9 strikeouts in 5 innings on Sunday night. And he's just, every single time he's on the mic, he's just talking about how happy he is to be where he is. I know he had some family connections to the Cubs, his family being fans, and I know he's not taking any second for granted when he's on the mound. He's representing for this team, and I am very proud that he's on the Cubs this season. So, great pickup by Jed Hoyer. I was just watching a video on the ultimate teardown rebuild, retooling of the Cubs over the past 4 seasons. Kind of crazy that we're here. I remember specifically being in the city the day that Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, and Anthony Rizzo got traded, and that was a crazy, such a demoralizing feeling. I'd never seen such a quick teardown. Didn't realize at the time it was such a good thing that we sold off the dudes and got like some assets back, because we got PCA for Javi. We got other pieces that were building up the farm system, and that team wasn't going to contend, especially with the health issues that Chris Bryant has unfortunately had and the up and down nature of Javi being Javi. Anthony Rizzo was kind of on the back end of his career. Nobody's picked him up this season, which is kind of sad to see, but it's a tough business to stick around in, and I totally get it. Yeah, man, things are looking pretty good for the Chicago Cubs. PCA should definitely be the MVP of this National League this season. Ohtani is obviously going to be in the conversation forever. He's like the LeBron of the league. Like, you could give it to him every single year, and you would probably be right no matter what, 9 times out of 10. But I think the season that PCA is having is so outrageously special. There's been, I think they've said like 10 different catches he's had throughout the season that whatever statistical measure is a 0% chance of being caught, and he's caught him, and he's made it look easy, and he's stealing bases. I don't know if he's got 40-40 in him, but dude, honestly, he might. He's got the power, and if he can jump on a few like in the next couple weeks, I think he has a pretty good shot at it in the second half of the season after the All-Star break to really push for that 40-40. He's got the speed, and I think he'll get that no matter what. But I mean, that guy's just outrageous. And Seiya Suzuki being the biggest snub, the day that it was announced on Sunday, and hitting that out of the park and just shoving it in people's faces, having that RBI double also. He's the RBI leader of the whole entire league, and that's insane that he wouldn't even be considered for a reserve spot. Whatever. I mean, people get snubbed. I get that. Not everybody can make it that deserves it. Trey Turner was also a case of not getting the nod when he probably should have. He leads the league in hits. What are you going to do? I'm not going to complain about 3 of our guys going. Could argue that there's a few more that should be there. I think if Shota doesn't get hurt, he would probably be on the roster also. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles with sports and injuries and things of that nature. So that's my analysis for the Cubs. We have a series against the Minnesota Twins, who are kind of in the middle of that AL Central, which is pretty underwhelming once you get past the Detroit Tigers. And then we're going against I believe they're pretty faltering at the moment, the New York Yankees in New York before the All-Star break. I think I see another good run of a week coming up. First pitch is at 4 o'clock Pacific time for the Cubs, so I'll try to have this out before then. How about 6 in a row going into the break? How about it? Hopefully the Dodgers can help us out with the series against the Brewers. That would be super cool if they could do what they're getting paid to do. All those millions, possibly billions of dollars going into the team. Dodgers, come on, help us out a little bit. And yeah, this is a very exciting time to be a Cubs fan. I'm looking forward to buying some tickets to see them on it's the series against the Milwaukee Brewers at home in the middle of August. Yeah, that'll be cool. So I think that'll pretty much do it for this episode. I don't really have much else to add. The Bulls suck. Blackhawks stink. I don't even know. Mexico beat U.S. in the Gold Cup. I don't really care about that because it never translates to the World Cup. I do always root for Mexico in international soccer. That's been my thing forever. It's corrupt and it sucks, and they're never gonna achieve much because they want their stars, their homegrown stars, to shine. And by homegrown, I mean the ones that play in the Mexican League, not anybody that goes overseas, which is stupid. And it sucks to see them get absolutely embarrassed on an international stage. So that stinks. Whatever. I don't really care. That's all I got officially. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the time that I got to spend with Peyton as much as I did. Love you, Peyton. Thanks for coming on again. Looking forward to getting in shape alongside you for the wedding that I'll be attending to celebrate you the right way. And to be there with all your loved ones. And, and discussing football coming up here. Looking forward to it. Thanks for everybody that has tuned in and is continuously tuning in and has things to say and comments. I appreciate it. And until next time, it's over.